spotlight will be on Jasprit Bumrah in the India Ireland T20Is as India wait for their leader of the pace attack to come good with the World Cup little more than 7 weeks away. Bumrah has been out of action for almost 11 months. His comeback will be watched by every Indian cricket follower given how this team has struggled in his absence. Bumrah's presence definitely proves or provides India a distinct edge, but Indian selectors have previously erred in getting Bumrah back too soon after injury. In the rush ahead of last year's T20 World Cup in Australia, the pace spearhead was injured, and that meant he became unavailable for close to a year. That is why the selectors are first assessing whether he can bowl 4 overs a match without any problems before potentially putting him through 10 overs in the Asia Cup and the home ODI series against Australia just before the World Cup. It's not only Bumrah who is vital to India's World Cup plans. Prasidh Krishna is another bowler the Indian team management thinks highly of, and he looks to be a good backup option for India if he impresses with his performance. So, spotlight will be on these two bowlers, no doubt about it. Ireland series is all about seeing whether Bumrah can bowl 4 overs. How impressive will he be, Jamie? How his action is going to be, whether he's going to be, match fit. All of that will be seen. So, in that sense, what are you expecting from this Ireland series, especially with him also captaining this team? And do you see him under being some amount of pressure? Because he also knows how important this is for him.
Look, I think we can all agree that no India-Ireland series has ever been so important, or probably won't be so important, only because just like these 5 T20Is against the West Indies, the specter of the ODI World Cup is looming so large, right? The sole purpose, practical purpose of this series is to see in those maximum of 12 overs, and I just feel that it might not get to 12 because of the forecast or the predicted rain in Ireland at this time of year. A maximum of 12 overs is not enough to judge in a normal year Jasprit Bumrah's fitness, but given the amount of importance, the reliance that this Indian think tank has on Jasprit Bumrah and the way they're expecting him to come back for the One Day World Cup, these three T20Is are massive for him. The mechanics, the attitude, the run-up, everything he does, whether he's going to be captain, from the toss to the selection to marking his own run-up to setting fields for his teammates to bowling. Those 12 overs are going to be so scrutinized only because there's a World Cup starting in 50 days. Beyond that, there's no real purpose to this. I would have given the series more importance had the Indian team taken these 5 T20s in the West Indies more seriously.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether the Indian team's taking this series seriously because do you guys know who the coach is? Chetan?
I think
do you
the
want to take a guess?
From the NCA is going, not even the support
Sitanshu
staff for the
Kotak.
Indian team. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think VVS Lakshman decided not to go, but it is going to be big because you'll have we look at India's 8B team or whatever. You look at some of the younger players. You look at Rinku Singh. You look at Tilak Verma is going to be there. There is of course Ruturaj Gaikwad as a vice captain. So there is that bit of looking at how these youngsters perform, but Jasprit Bumrah and the importance of Jasprit Bumrah and Prasidh Krishna to come good in this series. Chetan?
Neha, ideally, we would have been more concerned about Jasprit Bumrah's fitness because obviously he walks into any playing 11 whenever he's fit. The fact that we are actually more focused on 2 batsmen rather than on a star bowler who could actually win us the World Cup, because the last time I remember 2011 World Cup, we had Zahir Khan and we were fretting over his fitness throughout the tournament. Will he stay fit for the entirety of the tournament? And look, yes, all respect to Ashish Nehra and Munaf Patel, but they weren't the best of white ball bowlers, were they? So India's white ball attack in 2011 was quite weak. It was really carried by Zahir Khan, and Bumrah kind of, if not experienced, at least has that kind of stature. Really, he's a once in a generation kind of bowler.
Yeah.
So we should be really worried whether, he's up to fitness, what is his form, will he be available for the entirety of the tournament? But instead, we are more focused on KL Rahul and Shreyas.
I think that's because it's happening in India and the bulk of your work is going to be done by your spinners. That's another thing. If this World Cup was happening in Australia, trust me, we'd only be talking about Jasprit Bumrah.
If KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer were not available, I mean, we wouldn't be scoring 200 runs in Australia. So
That's true.
any inning. So I mean, see, look, my point is it's about the whole combination of the team really. And right now, India's combination is all over the place. Bumrah, very very important. Like Jamie said, I'm not sure he's going to bowl 12 overs. The good thing that he's captain is because the entire spotlight will be on him.